Hi, Emily. I'm going to give you some feedback on this. I did get access to the other document. I don't see a self-assessment, and this is going to be critical for me to understand what was involved and what tools you used in this particular project. You've given me a guide here about the kind of steps that you've gone through, and you want to give this sort of a research base example. So you have this kind of outline introduction, background, arguments, and so forth and so on. As I go through this, and when you're writing a report for me, it's a little bit harder for me to take off my research hat because one of the things that you may or may not know is that whenever you make a statement in a paper, you have to back it up. And so for example, as it stands right now, Gen AI in education could be seen as a controversial topic. You need a reference to back that up. Says who? And then from personal experience, yeah. So that's, while relevant, is kind of a reflection, but it's not part of a formal report. And I do respect your ideas and your experience. It's just that what goes into a formal report is a little bit different, right? Maybe your experiences are narrow, and we want to look at the greater um, compilation of experiences. Uh, and then, so here you have talked to us, stated previously something that many professors are unsure of. One article states, and there's concern. Now, that's more academic kind of thing, and so that's good. Um, which is a stance many educators take that actually isn't a paragraph. So, sorry, obviously it's not a paragraph. It isn't a sentence. There is no noun. You would have to say, this is a stance many educators take. However, when you say that, you're going to have to back that up with references. And then you're arguing that may be a powerful tool. Well, that might be true, but it's again not your personal opinion on this. It's going to be what the research says. So you might say, however, AI can also be a powerful tool, and then you'd have references. And then you give examples here. Um, and this is sort of like a personal essay. The other thing you have to be aware of is headings and paragraph alignment. So you've talked about AI having pressures aren't sure, and then you're flipping to say some, um, uh, which is stance many educators take. And then you said in a class assignment, we're asked to come up with 5 challenges we may face in our profession. And so you're kind of deviating. That's not okay. Each paragraph has to have a point, and you're sort of now talking about these challenges. So my mind's going, okay, what about those challenges? And then you said, I'm hoping to come. Now you've directed me to you becoming a high school history teacher or an English teacher. Uh, and what the way, if you were actually condensing this, you'd say, I hope to become a high school history or English teacher. Um, you don't need a comma there. And then, so some of the challenges I'm posing. So now there's a paragraph on challenges. And then the idea was to have Gen AI suggest ways that can help us with those challenges. So this is kind of a reflection on that. Um, So now we're going to collect conflicting viewpoints. Another article. See, so you understand that this particular long, long paragraph has many different ideas. And what you have to do is break that down into a set of ideas. Each idea has a paragraph, and then you expand on that paragraph. If I were to give you some feedback on that, because this is a long paragraph, and it's not that what you say doesn't have value, it does, but it's not presenting like a formal paper on the benefits and challenges of using AI. And then we talk about in my opinion. And again, while your opinion is very important, Uh, it is not something that would be in a report, because the report has to be evidence based. Uh, and again, the value of your report is the research that you do. I believe that safe AI should be taught in the classroom. What you would do there is just say a number. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who would disagree with that. So, and then if students can learn safely, it can then be more of a tool than harmful. Well, you would also say it can be more. What you should do, and I would suggest this strongly, is the university has a free version of Grammarly, and it can help you with the structure here. And you're kind of jumping around about AI being good or bad, um, and challenges. And so, again, it's the organization of what you would want to say more importantly. And I think that you could have used AI to help you organize this in a way. Now, I think you sort of did this, but didn't follow your actual outline, which you probably should have. So, this is a relatively short paper. I have no idea how many hours you put into it, but really it's essentially a one, two, three. Yeah, it's a 4-page paper. So it's really at about what I would say the B minus level. Um, it reflects some good thinking, which I like. It doesn't reflect a strong organization, even though your actual organization was strong when you looked it up there. And when I go back to here, the writing definitely needs some work. You need to reference everything you say. It needs to be more evidence based. So, what will be my suggestions? And I don't have a self-assessment here, so that makes it really tough to actually even assess this because I don't know how many hours, I don't know how you use tools. All those things are super important. So at this stage, you're kind of, yeah, it's sort of like that. Without even a self-assessment, it becomes getting closer to the C plus to the B minus level. So if I were giving you positive feedback, and I guess, putting a grade on it, because you didn't put a grade, so I have to kind of add something. But if I'm going to give you clear feedback, it is to organize your thoughts like you did here, right? Follow those thoughts, and if there's sub thoughts in there, then you have to, each has a paragraph. Use headings copiously, so say background, current uses, and all that sort of thing. So you actually didn't follow this outline. This outline is actually very good. Um, and uh, if you'd followed this, it probably would have been really a very solid paper. Especially that would be more like a 36-hour effort. And then case studies, and then some discussion, and then your references. So I suspect maybe you ran out of time. The other suggestion is definitely always use Grammarly, and use it extensively, not the free version. Get the Ontario Tech version, the high quality version. Because what I do see in the positives here is you've been thinking about this, which I think is important. And I think your thoughts are valid. What you have to do is take your personal opinions and see, are they actually substantiated by research? Okay, so there's my feedback.